Do you want more? More time, more balance, more love, more sex, more money, more real, and less bullshit? This is the Women Wanting More podcast with Dr. Karen Osborne. Real life, real stories, plus real tips to get you more of what you want.
So let's talk about the voice. Again, I've had a few podcasts about the voice. 2 or 3 or 4. I'll link some of these up in the show notes. The voice, that inner knowing that I often refer to it as that inner, like GPS, your knowing, your spidey sense, your gut feeling, your intuition, the voice. Some people will call it God, the voice. The thoughts that you'll have, the feelings that you have, the actions that you're being told to take, the voice. It is the thing that guides us, and the voice is always, did I say always? Correct. Now, here's something interesting that came up this morning, and a woman inside was either in the Experience, which is a free Facebook community I do in the Women Wanting More community, which, by the way, if you're not there, join us now. Just go up to Facebook, type in Women Wanting More Experience, and request to be added to the group, and I will add you in within 24 hours. It was either they were inside the group coaching program that I have, that had shared a very personal situation that happened within her family, and what the voice told her to do, which she did, and it didn't create the outcome that she wanted. Now, her dilemma or her share was really like, the voice was wrong. And it's interesting, because the women that have been following me for a while and or have been coached by me, I can tell they're the ones that pipe in and they give feedback, which is unbelievable feedback, because the experience is, I'm not coaching women there. It is a community. So I'm monitoring. I might drop in a question videos, but it's you having the opportunity to connect with other women. And they had, 2 of the comments that I saw initially said, oh no, like, it was the voice. I understand things suck. Like, be with that. But here's the thing that a lot of you don't, I think, quite get yet about the voice. Is the voice isn't like, okay, do the thing. You're like, okay, great. Now, where's my prize? Like, I did that thing. Now fucking give it to me. Like, what's give me the result that I want. See, the voice is guiding you to where you need to be, but you're just seeing the initial step. And the thing that you think it's supposed to bring you, or you want it to bring you, may not be the thing that you actually need. Now, this is all sounding like a very, metaphysical, only spiritual, let's just talk in woo-woo language kind of conversation. But, like, this is real. This is fucking practical. I want you to understand this. So let me give you an example so you have some context here. When I was in a group coaching program that I used to be part of, my former coach, Satem Anali, called Shield Maiden. I was in the first group that went through that when he created that. And we went through like a virtual 3 months of group coaching, and then we had a live event experience. And on the beach in Laguna, there was a clear message that came through to me with the voices. We're sitting there on the beach. I'm looking at the ocean. I'm journaling. And it was maybe the second day, I want to say, that a clear voice came through to me. Now, at the time, my husband and I were living in Alberta, Canada. We had our practice on the market. We were trying so fucking hard to get it sold. It had been in the market for almost a year at that point. I had a network marketing business that I was still in at that time. I was in the practice running that because my husband was no longer to be able to be in the practice. We had, we had launched podcasts, plural, because I was actually on my second podcast, which is this one. First one was called Mama 41, ran that for 13 months. And we had plans that we're going to be moving to Ontario. We're like, the practice is going to sell. And, we're going to make this happen. We're going to move to Ontario by the latest would be like September that year. So our oldest son, who would be starting grade 1 at that time, like, we can get all settled in the school year and stuff. And like, where this is happening. We have someone who's helping to sell the practice. He said, it could be 6 months to like a year, could be more, but we're like, no, this is a good practice. We've priced it like, so low that it would be great for like a new grad coming. Like, we just wanted to just like take the practice, gift it. We're ready to move on. We really felt this calling to be moving the direction where we are in our life right now, which is currently expanding and now going on to something new. It's always new levels of this. But the voice spoke to me really clearly on the beach. And the voice said this. The voice said, it's not London. Those 3 are words. It's not London. Now, we plan to move to London, Ontario at that time. We both are from Ontario. And, for many reasons, we're like, it's London. Yep, that makes sense. And I remember that, like, clearly. And the second piece was this: you need to live near the water. You need to live, and it was more specifically, you need to live near the ocean. And so I go, okay, it's not London, so we should live closer to the Great Lakes. Yeah. Let's live, like, somewhere closer. We're going to be, like, on the water and in Ontario and stuff. But it was like, it's not London. And I sat on that for a couple weeks. And the second piece of that, if you need to live near the ocean, was like, well, what does that mean? Because, we love Maui, but how is that going to happen? And I'm not a U.S. citizen, and I can't live in the United States. Like, how does this, what? I was at that point in my life, and it's crazy because that was not even 2 years ago from when I recorded this podcast. Not even 2 years ago, we were struggling big time financially. Big time. The practice was losing money at that point. Our online businesses were making money, which poured back into losing business. Like, it was fucking rough. And it was rough because we felt that this massive shift in transformation, we knew what we wanted to do, but yet we had the practice holding us back. But the voice spoke to me clearly almost 2 years ago. Now, did we then, we ended up not moving to London. We then had another situation which came up, which led us to believe that Ontario was not a good idea. Got a whole other podcast for that one. And we said, well, how about BC? Like, that's near the ocean. We want to be near the water, and that's really important to us. And so I now live, literally, like, across the street from the beach. Now, did that happen overnight? No. Did I need to know how we're going to make that happen? Nope. Did that single thing and the steps we took, did it get us to that living on the ocean? Nope. Did I question along the way? Yes. Did it scare me? Yes. Did I know that what I'm doing now with Women Wanting More, that when the voice first spoke to me like 6 years ago that said, you have a message to speak of, you need to start speaking it. It did not come overnight. Like, I didn't see that the situations of writing a blog led me to expanding the blog on my chiropractic website, which led me to really speaking into a lot about motherhood, because that's where I was in my life at that point, which led to my first podcast and more important. Like, you need to understand, like, you see all these steps coming together. They're laid out in front of you, but the thing is you don't see that it's the thing that's 2 years from now, that the voice is asking you to do the first step of it. But you can't see it because it's not getting you the instant results. So therefore, the voice must be wrong. Or the voice brought you to a situation which was painful. And somehow the voice is only going to bring you to love and to joy. No, that's not true. It is the hardest thing in the world when you take a step and you jump and you listen to the voice and you follow it and it doesn't give you the result that you want. And I'm going to have you consider one thing with this. You are trying to manipulate the voice into creating a result that you want, and that's not the fucking way that it works. See, your pain that you're in has purpose right now. You just can't see it right now. And it doesn't mean that you have to see that, like, oh, everything happens for a reason. Like, don't say dumb shit like that, sister. Don't do that. Understand and recognize that if you're in the shit right now, you're feeling pain, you're angry, you're sad, you feel that shit. Like, you feel that shit. Don't deny what is right in front of you. Don't try to squash reality with, like, happy face emojis, LOLs. Feel the place that you're currently in. Accept the spot that you're in, but understand that there are two things for you to do if you choose it, to keep moving forward, to keep listening to the voice, even when it's not bringing you the outcome that you're trying to manipulate and to force into place. Number one is to trust. To trust. It is hard. It's like a fucking free fall, right? What do you mean trust? A lot of us, are just controlling as shit. I did a training inside the sisterhood, which was called, what was it called about, like, how to not be, or how to let go of being a control freak or something like that. How to learn how to trust. Like, it is the hardest thing to learn how to trust. right? We're in a world now too where we're used to kind of like making shit happen and like that's cool and everything, but you know, it's a difficult thing to trust. So trust is the number one piece of this. The second piece of this is to surrender, is to let go, to try to manipulate and mold and conform everything, to surrender. Now, surrender doesn't mean that you quit or give up at all. Surrender doesn't mean that you just kind of like let things fly into the universe. Surrender means that you are clear on what you want, you are committed, and you do the required actions to get what you want, but then you let that shit go, right? You let that shit go. So I clearly remember when my husband and I got married, okay? When we had our wedding, we were planning our wedding. And I remember, so I was in chiropractic college at the time, we both were. And, you know, we had all these different plans and things. It was a very small wedding. We were on a tight budget as students. And so all our friends had different jobs to do. We had some family coming in. Like, again, it was a very, very small wedding. And I remember, you know, trying at some point, like I'm trying to control everything. And then it was like probably like 2 days before I was like, you know what? I surrender. Whatever's going to happen has happened. Shit's going to hit the fan. It's just life. It's a wedding. There's no such thing as perfection. Life is not perfection. Our marriage will be imperfect, which is funny because here we are now, almost 18 years later, married 25 years together. I can definitely attest to that. It's not supposed to be. And I just surrendered. I just surrendered. I was like, things are in place as they need to. Everything's going to be as it is. I'm stressing myself out. I'm going to miss out on one of the biggest experiences of my life because I'm trying to control shit, because I'm unwilling to trust and surrender. And so I just gave into that. I leaned into that. Is a more accurate description. So the voice is always right. It's just you think it's going to produce a certain outcome. And what you don't see is that the outcome it's actually produced might be exactly what you need. The outcome that it's produced, it's created from you listening to the voice and following has brought you to step one of a 10-step situation that's then going to bring you to what you want. When I got into chiropractic college, I wanted to go to CMCC. It was at the time the only school in Canada, in Toronto. I had been in chiropractic for 5 years as an assistant. My brother's a chiropractor. He was alumni from there. I had 10 alumni write letters recommending me to go to the school and did not get in. Crushed me. I went, okay, we're going to move to Toronto. We're going to get there. I got applied. It was like each year you could apply for each September that the new class would start. Applied again. I only got on the wait list this time. I'm like, okay, we're going to move to Toronto just in case. Didn't get in. Crushed me. And then I started to open up to a new possibility, which was this. If we could live anywhere in the world, where would we want to go? And we knew there was 4 chiropractic colleges in California, and so we said California. And so we got a map of California on the wall of our shitty, teeny, junior one, it was called a junior 1-bedroom apartment in Toronto, downtown Toronto. And I applied, and we set our intentions on that. And we did what was required. See, I didn't know that not getting into CMCC was the biggest fucking gift, because the people that I met there, the experiences that I had, the education, the school I was able to go through, the experience of living in California, the experience of how fucking hard that was necessary for me to be able to move where I needed to in my life. And I didn't see it at the time. But I can see it, right? You see the forest for the trees, however that saying goes. The voice is not about you manipulating. The voice is about you trusting and surrendering and knowing that it is always fucking right. Always. But listen, there are 3 things I want to finish up with you. I'm going to first give you this more tip. Where are you listening to the voice right now? You're going to journal this. Where are you listening to the voice right now? And you're pissed because it didn't produce the outcome that you wanted. Write what that is. And here's the second piece of that. Where do you just need to trust and just surrender that this is the path that you need to be on? And how are you going to make that happen? So journal all of that. So check this out. I created something very, very special called the More Journal System. I can't tell you how many of you have reached out to me and said, I don't know how to journal. And I'm like, what's the big deal? Open up fucking thing. And I was like, wait a second. I forgot that 6 years ago when I started, it felt weird. I felt like I didn't know what I was doing. And, I felt like I wasn't getting anywhere. I wasn't getting any kind of results. And, I found that by journaling over the last 6 years that I've created a system. And I found like, this is what gives me insights and revelations. People will say to me like, how do you come up with podcast material all the time? Because I fucking work on myself. I journal every single day. Insights and revelations come to me constantly. I'm like a channel for it now. And it comes from work and it comes from journaling. So this is what the More Journal system is all about, is to really teach you in 3 very simple, easy to follow videos of the system that I've created that gets results with journaling every single day. You can do the entire program within about 30 minutes. Plus, there's a bonus of 30 journaling icebreakers, which are prompts and questions to ask yourself if you ever feel stuck journaling, to kind of like to break the ice, right? To grease the wheels and to get going so you can really create the life that you want, a life of more, and it begins with journaling. So to get that, which is still in pre-launch, and there's not many left of that, and the price goes up, you need to go to here, drkarenosborne.com/how-to-journal. So drkarenosborne.com/how-to-journal. Listen, if this podcast was helpful for you, I want you to share this up with another sister that you know needs to hear this message. Okay, so share this up. That's step number 2. Number 1 is get the More Journal system. Number 2 is to share this episode up. And here's number 3. Help me drown out the hater reviews on iTunes with love. Okay, go onto iTunes, leave a review. Let me know what you think of the podcast. 5-star review. Here's my subliminal plug. 5-star review on iTunes. Because here's the thing, the more 5-star reviews, the more love for the podcast, the more women actually find this message, the more this movement grows, the more I can actually help to connect with other women around the world to help them create a life of more, just like I'm doing for you, sister. So I will talk to you in the next episode. A life of more is just one step away from you doing the fucking work every single day. I love and appreciate you.
To get the show notes of each Women Wanting More episode, including the How to Get More tip, subscribe to the newsletter at drkarenosborne.com/newsletter.